Ljubljana, through all those years, was becoming a ghost town. If you go in 10 o'clock in the evening on the street, if it's not Friday, you meet nobody. And here it was the intention that also on the other days things going on. But you cannot fight with the general mentality and situation in present time. So if it's a ghost town, you cannot establish the kingdom on Tuesday if nobody is here. Only by strong activities maybe, and attract people with very strong program, which is very important, I think still. As long as programming is going on, it's no danger.
How is Metelkova's reputation overshadowing that of Ljubljana affected the relationship that Metelkova has with the city government or the people?
Depends.
Depends on what?
It depends on understanding. I mean, nowadays mayor is quite on our side, but he is not informed very well. He's too populistic. He goes what we say, like in football, on the first ball, without thinking. Just, I'm supporting you, you will be autonomous in program, but this is our property. What if it's not difficult to guess, even if you are not have master or PhD in sociology, that it's not true. If the property is formally in somebody's hand, even the content cannot be autonomous. It's well connected, and it's pure stupidity living like this. Formally it's ours, but the program, the content is yours. It never works. It's impossible. It should be more radical. You know what I mean. In this case, should be total autonomous. Yeah. So that's the reason certain people here are trying to make this contract very, very useful for Metelkova, to protect it, that it's undersigned, but that the place is protected.
How do you guys deal with that kind of gap, like from new people coming in who don't have the squatting experience? How do you get them on the same page as with everybody else?
It's sometimes painful, but on the other hand, it's quite human that population should learn by own experiences, not by teaching them. I mean, certain things are obvious, but everybody should make his or her own decisions and going through experiences. It's very human. It's quite normal for every changing. That you cannot say it's like this. It's also social experiment in a way. It's changing. It's Metelkova. It's in dynamic process from the beginning on. So, as I said, it's sometimes painful if you are older, when you see that in your heart you are not older, you are just older by age, but painful also when you see that youngsters are making same mistakes as you did once and you cannot help. They need to learn. But as I said, as I know these dynamics from history and from places like this, it's balanced after a couple of years. It's balanced. When the third generation comes, then it's certainly balanced and much stronger than it was.
Do you think that Metelkova will continue to sort of maintain itself as like a prevalent part of like the radical community, or do you think that one day one of the generations is just going to maybe lose the vision? I mean, Metelkova will become obsolete and we'll find like another sort of outlet for it, or do you think Metelkova will continue to change with the changing mentalities of the generation?
Yeah, it has a lot of influences on population. There are some serious people who even say that Metelkova is the only really important thing that happens to Slovenia in the times from independence. That it's really like very strong in distribution ideas, in political meaning, in showing where are the possibilities, in presenting so many different, such a variety of events and activities. On the other hand, how to answer? It also depends in timeline when certain people are more political and then not. You never know. Maybe in 2-3 years, such times are coming. For instance, in this so-called recession, big crisis, it's as we learned from history, nothing happens when you are in crisis. It happens immediately after, if it's solved. Nothing happens. No big revolt is during the times of crisis, but immediately afterwards. So let's see what will happen. I mean, I'm not prophet. I cannot say in advance. I can only speak from experience and from reading history of subculture, alternative and underground movements. What's the dynamics, which also differs locally. You cannot compare it to Destiny of Tonic in New York. You cannot compare it to Berlin, Tokyo stories, to London, Paris stories, Amsterdam. Every free space like this has its own destiny and specifics.
What do you think in all these 15 years keeps Metelkova going and keeps it changing? Like, what do you think keeps everything together despite all these different generation changes?
Many different factors. Wide opening spaces, attracting certain people to do here in certain activities, from bar activity to artistic workshops. Then quite smart politics, representing from outside, being in a way on the distance to everyday party politics. A variety of things, I cannot say, and a lot of luck. Because in the bigger city, I cannot imagine what would happen here after 1 year and a half from the squatting on. I mean, I cannot imagine a place like this in New York. It would be demolished in half a year. It just goes, you know. Gentrification and this stuff, it just runs. It's easier if it's a smaller city like Ljubljana, when the authorities were not used to such deviations, so they react slowly, and the machinery of constructing on urbanism is working very, very slow. The strong Ljubljana alternative scene from the 80s, especially in places like FV, was a very good exhibition about their activities in the beginning of the 80s, video activities like Neue Slowenische Kunst, early Slavoj Žižek. It was, for my taste, much better than nowadays when he's a pop star. Radio Student, Mladina paper was very good. It was variety of things, what were called in the 80s, like, how to translate it, new social movements. It was exactly called new social movements, lot supported by socialist youth, and at a certain point allowing even quite radical ideas, even radical left ideas and anarchist ideas. And this mixture was quite productive when squatting Metelkova to certain population. So it was so well discussed that it existed even Plan B. If we don't succeed here, we shall squat the ex-People's Army of Yugoslavia home, what was called, that is the building in front of railway station, which is now sold out to different companies and fast food in the basement, as you see. But this was Plan B, because it was also an empty building. as a so-called public property.